the spooky season is here, and in today's video I would like to share a very mysterious case that horrified India some years ago. This case took place in a quiet neighborhood in Delhi. This is a story that not only shocked the community but the entire country. 11 members of the same family were gone, all at once. No sign of forced entry, no evidence of a struggle, and yet something felt terribly wrong. When the investigators walked into that small home on Burari Street, what they discovered could haunt them forever. This is the story of the Chundabad family, a case that blurs the line between faith, psychology, and the unexplainable. A story that still raises more questions than answers. Before we start today's video, I would like to remind you the importance of smelling good in this spooky season. And who can help us with that? Well, Dossier is here to save us. I am so happy to say that they are collaborating with us for the second time. So, thank you so much. In this occasion, Dossier sent me 2 fragrances, so let's check them out. What I like about them is that their packages always arrive fast and also well protected, packed in these aesthetically pleasant boxes. They are quite professional. Each fragrance will come with a note where you can find brief information about the fragrance that you got, the name and the notes. The name of the fragrance, the notes of the fragrance, and also in different languages, so that's quite good. In this occasion, I got ambery saffron and ambery vanilla. What I love about Dossier is that they started a fragrance revolution. These perfumes are inspired by some of the most popular fragrances out in the market, but also they have a variety of unique original perfumes for everyone to find their personal scent. If you are in Mexico or in US, don't worry. I'm going to leave their website right in the description box. So let's try them. I have experience already with Dossier perfumes, and I love them because they last for a long time. And I just love it because I smell good through all the day. Amazing. Just amazing. Thank you so much, Dossier, once again for collaborating in today's video. Now, let's begin. It was a quiet Sunday morning in Delhi, July 1st, 2018. The neighborhood of Burari was slowly waking up. Shopkeepers were opening their shutters. The air was thick with the smell of chai, and stray dogs wandered lazily through the narrow lanes. Nothing about that morning felt unusual, until a few doors down from a local grocery store, something caught the attention of a neighbor. Something strange, something that could soon become one of India's most haunting mysteries. The Chundabad family lived in that house, 11 people, 3 generations under one roof. They were known around the area as polite, hardworking, and deeply spiritual. The eldest, Narayani Devi, was the matriarch. In her 80s, she was gentle but strong, respected by everyone. Her 2 sons, Papnesh and Lalit, ran the family's grocery shop. Their wives helped at home, and their children, bright, well-mannered, studied and helped in the business. On the surface, they looked like the perfect example of a close-knit Indian family. But beneath that image, something else had been growing, something quietly strange. Over the months before that day, neighbors had noticed unusual things. Late at night, the family could be heard chanting, sometimes soft prayers, sometimes whispering, conversations that made no sense. They had become more private, rarely inviting anyone inside. Even close relatives said that they hadn't been visiting much lately. Still, no one suspected what was really happening behind those walls. That morning, when a neighbor walked by and saw the family's shop still closed well past its usual hour, she felt something was wrong. The Chundavats were never late to open. She called out, no answer. She went closer, tried knocking, and when there was still no response, she called another neighbor. Soon, a small crowd gathered. Someone climbed the short boundary wall, looked inside through a window, and froze. Police were called immediately. What they found inside could leave even the most experienced investigators speechless. The entire Chundavat family was gone. 11 members in one night. There was no sign of a break-in, no chaos, no robbery, no struggle. Everything inside the home looked eerily normal. Dinner plates were still stacked neatly. The family's pets were alive, their valuables untouched. It was as if life had simply stopped, suddenly, completely, without warning. The police began searching the home carefully, room by room, and soon they found something deeply unsettling. A collection of notebooks and diaries, years' worth of them. Each page contained detailed instructions for spiritual rituals, written in careful, steady handwriting. The words described prayers, positions, and timings. They even mentioned the idea of union with the divine. The instructions were precise, almost like a manual. Investigators couldn't believe what they were reading. The notes spoke of an otherworldly experience, of surrendering the body to reach a higher realm. It was clear that Lalit, the younger son, had written many of those entries, and that's where the story took an ever darker turn. Lalit had changed over the years. After the sudden death of his father, he became quiet, withdrawn. For a long time, he reportedly believed his father's spirit still visited him, giving him guidance, protecting the family. People thought it was his way of coping with grief. But what no one realized was how far that belief had grown. The diary suggested that Lalit began hearing his father's voice, not in memory, but as if it were real, speaking directly to him. He started writing down what he believed were instructions from his father. He told the family that their ancestors were watching over them, preparing them for something sacred. Slowly, over time, the others began to believe it too. It wasn't about fear, it was about devotion. The family's faith in Lalit visions grew stronger. He was calm, convincing, deeply persuasive. He could tell them that if they followed the rituals exactly, they could be blessed. that their deceased father could protect them, that they could all reach a better place together. For years, this ritualistic belief system built quietly inside that home. The family continued with normal life outside, running the shop, attending social events, but every night they could gather for prayers and write in the journals, recording what they thought were divine instructions. Those notebooks could later become the key to understanding what truly happened in Burari Street. When police compared the diary entries with the scene they found, the similarities were chilling. Every small detail, the timing, the arrangements, the ritual order matched the notes exactly. It was as if they had followed a script, step by step, believing it could lead them to salvation. The investigation became one of the most complex and emotionally difficult in recent history. For days, officers and forensic experts examined every inch of that home. But there was no evidence of an outsider. No one had forced their way in. Every door and window was locked from inside. The family had, in their own way, prepared everything themselves. When the news of the case broke, it spread across India like wildfire. The entire country was horrified. How could 11 intelligent, educated, religious people living in the heart of Delhi take part in something so unimaginable? Experts began to offer theories. Some said it was a shared psychosis, a phenomenon where one person's delusion slowly spreads to others, especially within close families. Others believed it was an extreme case of spiritual misguidance where faith turned into obsession. But even with explanations, the truth felt unsatisfying. How could love, devotion, and belief, the very things that hold families together, become the cause of their destruction? Police later confirmed that Lalit was the central figure, not out of cruelty, but conviction. He truly believed he was guiding his family towards something divine. The notes showed no signs of fear or coercion. They were calm, methodical, even hopeful. They thought they were doing something sacred, something that could reunite them with their ancestors. As the investigation continued, family, relatives, and neighbors wept outside the house, unable to understand how they missed the signs. Everyone had always described the Chundavats as warm, kind, and disciplined, but behind doors, the reality was slowly unraveling into ritual and delusion. The police sealed off the house, and soon it became a place people whispered about. Some called it cursed, others believed it was haunted, but for investigators it remained a case of study, one that blurred the line between faith, psychology, and tragedy. In the months that followed, psychiatrists examined the writings, family stories, and behavior patterns. They conclude that what happened was a rare psychological phenomenon, a blend of grief, isolation, and deep spiritual belief. When man's conviction had slowly drawn an entire family into a world where logic no longer applied. Even now, years later, the Burari case remains one of India's most haunting unsolved mysteries. Not because the police don't know what happened, but because no one can truly explain why. How does a family so loving, so normal from outside fall completely under the spell of something so dark? What kind of fate blurs the line between devotion and destruction? And how many other families behind closed doors might be quietly slipping into their own invisible darkness. When you stand outside a house in Burari today, it looks ordinary. The paint is faded, the windows sealed, but those who live nearby say that sometimes, in the quiet of the night, you can still feel an energy there, a lingering heaviness, like the house itself remembers. And that is the tragedy of the Chundavat family. 11 souls bound by love, belief, and unshakable conviction that they were being guided toward something higher. In the end, it wasn't a crime of greed or rage. It was a crime of faith, one that left behind questions the world may never be able to answer. Let me know down below in the comments if you reach the end of this mysterious and horrifying case. And let me know your thoughts. See you next time.